All right, what's up, y'all? Peace, peace, peace. How y'all feeling today? When people get in here, then we get started today. Let's talk about this DNA awakening. I know some of y'all are going through it. I know some of y'all are feeling it. Let's talk about this DNA. Let me go ahead and DNA awakening. I know some of y'all are going through it. I know some of y'all are feeling it. Let's talk about this DNA. Let me go ahead and that's funny. We'll echo. Peace, peace. Grand day to you too. Grand day. Let's make sure all the service is good. Last time the internet was off. But today we're going to get into the DNA because I know some of y'all are feeling it. I know some of y'all are going through it and you don't even realize what's going on with you. You know, you don't realize what's going on. You don't realize what you're feeling. So today what I'm going to do is I'm going to get into what a DNA awakening is, so you don't know, so you understand what's going on with you, gods and goddesses and all gods, and you know how to deal with it because many of y'all have been going through DNA awakening for a couple of years, and this is probably the heightened level that you are at right now, and if you're starting to do the work on yourself, more of your DNA will show itself to you, but you have to do the work. You can't just sit around and continue to be ignorant, not, attacking your psychological traumas in life and, mental anguish and things of that nature and expect your DNA to wake up because it's more than just a health thing. You can be a healthy, sleepy person all you want. It's not just about health. It's more than health. You have to do all of the work. So we're going to get today into DNA awakening. I'm going to give it like 2 more minutes and then we're going to get started. I'm about to get real high energy. Y'all know how I do. I start off chill and then I go real high energy. So as the video goes on, I'm about to get in my intensity bag. Peace, family. How y'all doing today? What y'all been up to? Y'all been reading, y'all been learning, have y'all been feeling these changes in the world? Have you been letting the bullshit affect you? Have you been giving other people your attention that do not deserve your attention? Do you know why they say pay attention, right? You know why they say it, right? Because you're paying your attention. Paying your time. Your time costs money. So they may have the word pay attention, but we're going to get into remembering. We're going to get into these things today. Okay. All right. Because as I go on, I'm going to give y'all something to go off of so we can continue to build with each other. Now, before I get started, we do have a Patreon for people like you, as you're going to find out that you are somebody who is different. You're special. My Patreon is about building with like minds. We have Zooms every week or every other week. We have one Zoom with men and women. We have another Zoom with just men because men need a platform to talk on, to talk to each other and be honest with each other without the women present. So we have that as well on the Patreon. We've been doing that for over a year now, and we're continuing to build. As you start to go through this DNA ascension, you need to find like minds like you in order to build with, because it's information that you're learning and these experiences that you have. You may not have people who have been through these experiences around you that can actually help you. In fact, they're actually going to make you feel crazy for going through these experiences. And people like myself and other people on the Patreon will be able to help you out. We talk about relationships in the Patreon because a lot of y'all right now, men and women, are in relationships with people who are not on your same wavelength. They're not vibrating like you, and you're like, you don't know what to do. Even if you're married, you don't know what to do. And I'm going to pretty much tell you what to do at the end of the day. So we're going to talk about that today. All right. Okay. So we talk about the Patreon. I'll put the Patreon in the, oh yeah, please like and subscribe too. Please. I don't normally ask all the time, but I'm getting to ask. So my stuff can be on the algorithm. My web guy was like, yo, you don't be asking for it, which is why you're low in the algorithm. I'm like, I didn't even think about it, but like, comment, subscribe, so we can get me higher in the algorithm. but I don't really care about views. I care about talking to the right person, the right people. And y'all always know that I don't really care because I'm still making videos. And if I cared, I wouldn't be making videos anymore about how many people actually see me. Okay, so let's get into it. Okay, so all right. So how do you know your DNA is awakening? How do you know, right? Well, what is DNA awakening? Okay, so DNA is that which flows through you, your black blood, which flows through you. Now, your black blood has trillions and trillions and trillions of data of information. As a melanated person in this state right now, you only access about 3 to 10% of your DNA, which means that the other parts of the DNA that you are not accessing are the parts that would make you more God-like than you already are right now. Imagine the things you're able to manifest in this particular state of mind right now. Imagine those things, right? Well, imagine things beyond your imagination and think about anything that you could possibly do. Imagine if you had a superpower right now, right? What would that power be? What is the power that resonates with you? That is your power. That is what you could do if you have your DNA. Whatever you could think of, because you can think of it, is already real. You're God. Okay? So now let's get into it, right? So one of the things that I first noticed in my DNA awakening was I started to see the soul of an individual. Okay. Oops. Let's go into this one. Okay. I start to see what happens is when your DNA starts to awaken, the veil becomes lifted. You start to see other individuals that you used to find fun to hang around or doing things to you that was cool, but you start to see what type of time individuals are really on. Maybe you can't stand people now. Maybe you can. It's like you always dealt with it before, but now you can see these people, and you're like, yo, I can't really fuck with you because you do this, 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 and that. And most people who are asleep don't realize detriment that they do, especially if you allow them to do it over a span of time. But then when your DNA starts to awaken, you tap into your Godhead and you can see through individuals because the veil of this reality is lifted. So that's one of the signs. You start to see people for who they really are, and you start making a decision to separate from them. Now, upon separating from these individuals, you will be a pariah. You will be pushed out. You will not be included in certain things. And you have to not let that bother you because people really don't understand what they do. You understand what they do, and you can see the things they couldn't see because now you're tapping into your mind and your DNA more psychologically. Your brain is actually starting to fix itself. Your body is starting to fix itself. And because of that, the things you're able to see now are more clear than they've ever been. And people are going to start to annoy the shit out of you. Friends, families, co-worker, people around you, spouse, whatever it may be. These people may still be asleep and they don't see what they do. They're operating off of information that has been placed into them, off of a program that they run on, which they don't realize what they do. But you are deprogramming yourself and finding out this is bullshit. Why am I hanging around these people? These people don't do nothing for me. All they do is drink, smoke, talk about bullshit. They don't really build. Well, why am I hanging around them? Because now the DNA in you wants to rise. And normally when you're in a state where you want to rise, you don't want to be around fallen individuals. You might want to lift them up, but caution you, when you try to lift individuals up that they're not going to let you because they know who you used to be. And because they know who you used to be, they struggle to respect who you are now. You ever heard the saying, you can't be a prophet in your own town? That is a fact. So leave it be the example, let them come to you when they're ready and fall back. Because many of y'all, when y'all DNA start to awaken, all you want to do is just share, share, share. No. Keep it to yourself and build up your fortress of knowledge because right now you're new to the game. And they've been in the game of programming for a long time. They're going to discourage you, and you don't want that, okay? You don't want that at all, All right. Next one. Now you're starting to become very sensitive to situations, environments, people, sounds, smells, etc. Okay. You are becoming more empathic. Okay. So a lot of y'all have always been empaths, but you have not been able to fully feel the spectrum of light which surrounds you right now. We're all in light. Everything is light, right? And we are vibrating in a certain spectrum of light. We're all vibrating, right? But now the vibrations are starting to slow down and you're becoming more sensitive to what you were always around. Like you like say if you were like on a shroom trip, right? You're taking shrooms and you're able to see, right? You're able to see everything for the first time. Like there's this art called scribing, right? And scribing is an art where if you stare at one thing for a period of time, this thing will change right in front of your eyes. Have you ever heard of mirror gazing? Okay. Mirror gazing is when you sit there and look at yourself in a mirror without blinking. And if you do this for 10 minutes straight, you will literally be looking at another person. No lie. Okay. So as an empath, you become sensitive to the room now. You know how before you could walk into a room, but you really couldn't feel the energy of people. But because your DNA is awakening and because your powers are coming online, you're able to see and feel everything that you're around. So now you have a desperate need to protect your energy. People are going to want you to come around. You're not going to want to come around. You're going to feel like you can't be around things. Concerts, parties, they affect you more than anything because people in those particular environments have all types of energies. And do you know what it feels like to feel all of that at one time? And you haven't learned how to build an energy shield around you, protect you? You need to stay by yourself for a little while. Sounds will affect you differently. Like, okay, the music they make today, all that shit is a bunch of sounds and vibration and somebody trying to make sense over. That's all bullshit, right? The music today. If the music's on radio, is bullshit. If the music is promoted by an individual which does not serve yourself, the vibrations they're kicking to you are fucking up your frequency. And when your DNA awakens, you start to feel all of that happening to you. See, before when you're asleep, you can I don't even know these rappers nowadays. Like who now Waka Flocka, I don't know. I don't know these rappers any day. I don't know their names. Somebody name a name. I don't know these rappers anymore. I don't know. I don't listen to these little motherfuckers. I don't listen to them. But when you listen to their music, you can feel what's happening to your body as you're listening to it. And you don't want to listen to it, nor do you want to be around anybody who is, because you understand the DNA and the physical changes which are happening from the music. You can't put your thought, your mind to it because you don't understand the science behind the music and what it does to your melanin and your body. But your DNA, which is more intelligent than you, does. So you want to be away from that. Also, smells. When my DNA started to awaken, when I used to drive by fast food places, it didn't smell the same to me anymore. If I drove by McDonald's, right, or Burger Things, or Taco Hell, or any of those places, it smelled like the food was death. Now, before I used to drive by McDonald's, the food smelled really good to me. I'm like, damn, them fries is banging. Let me go get them fries, right? Because smell is a spell, right? Okay, so one of the biggest things tied to your memory, people, is smell. You can literally not smell a smell for 30 years that your mother wore. And if you smell it on your new girlfriend or somebody walked past you, as soon as you smell it, that memory will come right into you. Like, damn, my mom used to wear that scent. You ain't smelled it in 30 years. But all of a sudden, boom, right back into you. So what McDonald's does when your DNA is not awakened is get you through them smells. Other places get you through them smells. And those smells are tied to the memory of when you ate it. And the memory of when you ate it triggered dopamine, which is reward. And when you ate it, you got a reward. So every time you smell it, you want the reward of eating it. But when your DNA comes back awakened, it's smarter than that now. And you smell what it really is: death, poison, despair of the human body, putrid flesh, things that aren't even real, dead babies, shit like that in McDonald's food, right? Aborted fetuses. You smell that and you don't want it no more, right? You don't want it anymore at all, okay? Now, with all these things, right, you need to isolate, right? Let me find it. Sorry, y'all. Y'all need to isolate, okay? Because you need to isolate, okay? You have a strong desire, okay, to pull away from people and be alone. The reason why you feel this way is because now you realize you need to work on yourself, but you don't know why yet, because you haven't researched anything, you haven't read anything, you haven't done any of those things. So in the beginning, you just say, I need to be with people. I got to just isolate. I got to go in nature. I got to meditate. I got to find out who I am, because right now, nothing makes sense. And I have to go inside to figure out who I am. And many of the time, many of us isolate, okay? That's what we do. We isolate, and we don't want to be around other individuals. And if your DNA is starting to awaken, I suggest you isolate. You get away from other people, okay? Because if you realize that you're living in a world full of dead people and some people who are conscious to this realm or are starting to activate their fullest potential, you realize that we're scattered. And in order to find those individuals, you have to work on your manifestation magnetic abilities. And you have to isolate in order to do it, because you have to figure out who the hell you are. You've been hanging around individuals which, you know, are dominated by the biggest ego in the crowd, and you've been following other individuals, wearing what other individuals like, and then you get by yourself and you realize you don't like any of those things, because that's not really who you are. You've been following a program that literally is not you. So isolation is key. If you do this, one of the things you have to do is isolate, okay? Because people are going to throw you off like crazy, because you realize how many individuals are following the crowd, okay? Now, let's get into the dream state, right? Your dreams are going to change because you have this thing called neuromelanin, right? That helps you travel to other dimensions. You can go to these other dimensions through heavy discipline meditation. This is what I'm working on at this particular time. I've been able to go through other dimensions in my dreams, but I have not been able to do it at will. So what I'm learning how to do right now is to do it through deep meditation. If you have ever tried to meditate for a long time, you realize how difficult it may be. But you have to be frequent with it, okay? Because when you are frequent, your frequency increases, okay? So you have to be frequent with it, okay? Your dream state is going to feel different. You're going to have dreams as if they are real, right? They are going to be next level, beyond what you ever thought, and you can control your dreams. And if you watch one of my videos where I'm talking about the books, because I'm not going to give you information without referring you to certain books so you can get it on your own, it is what it is. You know, you go read it on your own, get your own insight, because I don't want to. I've always said that I want y'all to be aware of these YouTube preachers that give you all this wow information and never direct you to where they got it from. Because if it's not a download that they pulled out of you, because many people are pulling downloads out of them, and we'll get into the memories thing, you will find out that a lot of people want you to follow them. And those individuals who don't really care if you follow them and try to pull you out of you, you're going to run from at first. Because a lot of y'all are so used to following and listening to that person on the pulpit from church, you're not able to break the programming of somebody trying to show you to you. Because by showing you to you, we all win. But if I don't show you to you, all you do is look at me for all the information, and you continue to be blind, deaf, and dumb. Okay? And I don't want that. Now, the next one is you start having body aches and pains, like pains up the back of your neck. That's the Kundalini energy rising up the spine, that your raised snake rising up the spine. That's the Kundalini energy, okay? And that energy is going to be all over you. You're going to feel sad. You're going to feel depressed. Your physical body is actually changing. Okay. The chemistry of your body is changing, and your body is trying to adapt to the DNA that's starting to awaken in it. Because what's in your DNA is beyond physical comprehension. It's beyond. I really don't have words to put to it, because this English language is so low and so low vibrational that words cannot describe what many people have started to experience through DNA awakenings. Let's say if you do mushrooms or ayahuasca or sapo or ibogaine, you start to go right into your DNA. People think that the plants they take when they do high plant medicine it's the plants that have the active ingredients. All plants is a key to multiple parts of your DNA. And all plants do is unlock what's already in you or is ready to be shown in you. And if you haven't been showing yourself anything, you're not going to get a good experience. You're going to be like, I had a bad trip. I did all this. Or you're going to be still scared to even use them, like a lot of Black people are. We'll smoke the shit out of weed. We'll drink the hell out of liquor, but we won't use nothing that really go inside of ourselves. We'll say, I'm scared to do it. I'm scared to do it. Motherfucker, you scared of yourself. That's what they got you. They've made you feel so afraid that you're afraid of yourself. They've made you think that they put so much fear in you, you are afraid of everything. Straight up. Straight up. All right. So body aches is what you're going to go through. All right. Deal with it. All right. Deal with it. The next one is you do not find your work environment as beneficial to your growth anymore. You start to feel like a mouse in a wheel in a tank. Because if you are working for somebody and you do not like where you work, and that job is not using your full potential, and you're not using your full potential, you are a mouse on a wheel. If you're taking your time and you're making another person happy and rich, and you're not happy and rich, and you're not finding yourself, well, damn it, you are a slave. Because the original meaning of an employee is to be in a ploy. Don't snap at me. It's the truth. Okay. So the reason why you're where you're at is because of your decisions you have made in your life. It's because of what you said to yourself all your life and the bullshit you decide to believe. You are the shaper of your reality, point blank, period. And you're the one that can put yourself in situations and get yourself out of it. When your DNA awakens, things like jobs or things like not being happy will no longer be acceptable to you anymore. Because now, since your DNA is awakening, you're able to access more knowledge from the compendium of all information, which is the Akashic records, which is in your DNA. And when you're doing something that is below you, you are going to sense and feel it's below you. And until you do something that is above you and you get to that level, you'll never be happy. You will never be happy. Some of y'all are watching this right now in denial. Like, man, I'm fine. I'm fine. You know in the back of your head if you're happy or not. You're having a conversation with yourself right now. And I'm going to ask you a question. Are you happy with what you're doing? Then if not, find out how to get happy and go find that. Because I don't know about you, but I'm not going to be a Black person in this reality going through all I go through and being under attack and not find happiness. The reason why you're under attack is because they understand that you're God. They understand that you are him or her and an embodiment of that. And every time they look at you, you remind them that you are God and you don't know you're God. So what they do is give you all of their attention, right? Oh, I'm sorry. They make you give them all of your attention with fear. Do you know what fear does to you? Fear creates what they call a circle thought. Do y'all know what a circle thought is? A circle thought is that when you have fear, you're thinking about the solution at first, right? Imagine a circle. The top of the circle is where you think about the solution. And then you start to think about the solution because you have a problem. But you can't get through the problem because fear creates a circle where all you do is dwell on the problem. That's what fear does to you. It creates an endless loop of not getting anything done. And then They understand your ability to manifest because your DNA is awakening, but you don't realize what's happening to you because you refuse to get any knowledge and have any understanding and knowledge of yourself. So what they do is they promote and put a bunch of fear into you, understanding that what you give your energy to and what you talk about is going to be manifested. So if you talk about all the time the COVID, if you talk about all the time martial law, if you talk about all the time all these things they're doing to you, they understand that they make you work for them unknowingly by what you talk about and what you give your energy to, because that what you think about the most will be surely to happen. One thing we do know about is that. So if all of us guys at one time are thinking and worrying and watching one thing, thinking about or worrying or waiting for something to happen to us and not getting in our bag on our Godhead, then guess what? Something's going to happen to you. All right? All right? Let's keep it going. Let's keep it going. All right, hold on. Let me fix this. Let's keep it going because this should be pissing me off. You're like, yo, you a god. Like, what the fuck? How many times I gotta tell you? When you gonna find out on your own? The fuck is wrong with y'all? All right, listen. Yo, do you realize that when you start becoming a god, that time is linear? It's all going on at one time. And in this realm, we access time in the past, present, and future. But because you have neuromelanin, which is able to travel to different realms, you realize that you can see past, present, and future whenever you decide to really tap into it. Let me give you an example. One time, right, I went real deep on plant medicine. It was a synthesized version of ibogaine, and I took too much. Maybe it wasn't too much because the experience was probably supposed to happen, but it was a lot. I took only 1 gram, but it was still a lot because it was synthesized, right? And I started to travel through all space and time. It was so much happening that I could not control that my brain almost fragmented because the programming that I have right now has not been prepped to deal with that type of travel. Like, y'all want to know how Egypt really looked? Yo, the pyramids were solid gold. And you know, like, imagine the shiniest chain you see a rapper wearing, right? Or the shiniest block of gold bullion, right? The pyramid was 5 times more crisp than that. There were 2 Egyptian heads. They were a little bit darker than me, right? And one had a yellow shroud and one had a blue shroud, like a turquoise shroud, right? And then I started to travel through all space and time. And this is, yo, if I'm lying, I'm flying, y'all. If I'm lying, I'm flying. I swear to God, right? I swear to me, right? I literally saw myself when I saw this kid, right? He was dribbling the basketball really fast, right? It's the first time I'm sharing it on this platform. He was dribbling the basketball really fast. And he had blue and white shorts on and a white wife beater. I'm looking closely because my eyes are closed the whole time, right? I'm looking closely and it's me at 11 years old dribbling in front of my friend Anthony, Katrina, and my friend Lonnie. No, not Lonnie, Kevin. And I'm dribbling the basketball really fast. And I'm watching myself like I'm watching you right now with a memory, but not a memory. I traveled to my other self in this particular time, or maybe another one, because all time is going on at one time. When I was a kid, right? And I don't know if anybody else did this, but this is how you know you're special. Because ever since I was a kid, I knew there was something different about me. And one of the biggest things you realize that when you are a real person, when you are a sleeping giant, you start to realize that there is something different about you all your life that you just can't put your finger on, right? So you never really all the way fit in. You're friends with everybody, but you never really fit in. And you just always felt different than everybody else. It's because you are. So I'm watching myself at 11 years old, but when I was younger, I used to envision my older self watching me while I was playing basketball or doing something. I'm like, where Where am I at watching me when I'm like 30 something years old? Where am I at watching me? I used to play games like that with myself all the time. And I never knew why I did it. Because probably in the future, my higher self, me, is going to come watch my whole life, my whole life at one time. Because it's all going on at one time. There's no past. There's no future. There's no present. It's all happening at one time. And you, as a God, can access it if you really, really, really want to go in. Because what's happening to you is you're starting to be aware of everything that you're capable of. And the reason why they gave you superhero movies is because they wanted to implant the idea that it was just nonfiction. It wasn't real. It wasn't real. So when it happens to me, yeah, right, I can't fly. Yeah, right, I can't shoot beams out of my hand. Yeah, right, I can't control minds or read minds. Guess what, y'all? I can read minds too. Yes. If I decide to tap into an individual's mind, I can read it. I can tell who's lying to me. I can tell who, and this is what is going to happen to you. You're going to feel all these things like, yo, this is no fucking joke, y'all. And the first way to start awakening to it is obviously through the diet. You got to clean your diet because the body's the conduit to the mind. Whatever you're consuming obviously affects the way you think and affects the spirit, obviously. But it doesn't affect the soul because the soul is separate from the spirit. The spirit is the energy permeating through you. The soul is multidimensional, which can travel all the time if it wants to. The soul is expressing itself through you. It's having a human experience, okay? But we're starting to access the soul, the God, like the difference, the soul. Like, yo, remember that vowel video I did? The E, I, O, U, right? That video, U, O, I, E, ah, right? And you start doing it through meditation, you start to open up languages, dimensions in your throat, because your DNA is starting to remember the different languages. If anybody's on my Instagram right now, my Patreon, I put up a picture, right, of something explaining vibrations and controlling elements. And I said this about maybe 7 months ago when I bent my first element, when I controlled my first element, which was fire, right? My first element that I controlled through vibrational tone and frequency and language and chants was fire. I made the fire go in circular motion. Shit turned like a yellowish, goldish, bluish, right? Wow. And I did it twice to make sure it was real because my ego was doubting me again. All right. But this shit is real. This shit is real, right? It's real. Okay. And if you don't believe it's real, well, go ahead. Continue to be what you are. But if you are understanding this is real, you can tap in because I'm not telling anybody anything that you can't do. So if you believe, in fact, let me read the comments real quick because I ain't been reading them, right? I ain't been reading them, right? Pete, right? So I love black women, right? If this is pseudo, how about you do what I'm telling you to do and you find out if it's pseudo? Or how about you take a high level of plant medicine and find out if it's pseudo? But if you ain't working on yourself, I can probably bank on that you're not doing anything. Like you're probably not gonna have a good experience. Probably not. People like that who come on other people's channels to run their mouths. What do they do? What do they do? Right? Let's keep it going. Who are they? Probably bots. Anyway, let's keep it going. Right? The next thing is you're going to start to find people that are part of your soul family and start to build with them. Now, for many years, I was alone, right? I was alone with this whole thing, just building on my own, doing YouTube videos and everything, right? And I was trying to figure out how to make sense of all these things that I didn't quite understand because a lot of y'all may have grown up in a Christian environment. And with a Christian environment, right, you are taught to think outside of yourself. Everything's outside of you. You have to go through the pastor to get to God. When the pastor is God and so are you. They just don't know. Maybe the pastor knows, but he ain't telling nobody the information after he read it, right? But when it comes down to it, you start to understand that you need to find people who think like you. Because if you find ignorant fools like the I love black women person, then you're going to find out that you got to find other individuals who are attaining knowledge of self and getting the same downloads as you. And then when you find these individuals, you don't just find out that they're individuals, you find out that they're actually closer to you than family members or friends. And they seem to they seem to be having the same experiences as you. You start to be syncing up. Y'all be having the same thoughts. You know, you got to find groups like that. You know, that's what my Patreon's about. We have groups like that, you know, and a lot of times with these groups, you are afraid to put yourself out there. That's why you got to find a real group that will help you. Okay. And wherever you are, you can find a group, but you have to set the intention and just forget about it. Okay. That's called creating a sigil. I create like sigils. I'll set an intention and I'll ball it up or I'll burn it and I'll just forget about it. And later on, it'll come to me. Okay. That's another way to use your magic. But I'll do a video about how to use your magic, because this magic that you're reading in books, that shit don't work no more. You can make your own magic now. None of that book shit works. The reason why they're giving you your magic is because none of it, like this book stuff, is because now we're in different like time and that magic doesn't work. You can literally make your own magic up. All you need is a little guide to show you what you got to do so you can add to your belief in yourself. But you can make your own magic up these days. So you ever think about like you ever like try to call out of work and you say like, yo, I'm sick, but then you actually really get sick because you put a spell on yourself. Like you're really understanding that you can't make like these type of lies anymore. Like, or say like, you know, my baby's sick or my grandma's in the hospital, because that shit will really happen because you're really starting to shape and bend your holographic reality that you're living in. So you're going to have to understand, like, you can't just say things. All right. So you got to find a soul family, y'all. Like find a soul family. When you find a soul family, you won't feel too separate. You will feel like you fit right in, or, you know, you'll build them up or they'll build you up and you build each other up. All right. So another one is your appetite is starting to decrease, right? You are not becoming as hungry. Like you feel like, yo, I feel like it's strange because I'm supposed to eat, right? But I'm not hungry. What's going on there? Because your spirit, I mean, your soul doesn't need to eat. Like your soul is not hungry. And you're tapping into the different types of energy. Like you're starting to tap into the sun's energy. You're starting to tap into books. Do you realize books are food, right? You realize that books are food. Okay. Books are food. You ever like seen like Buddha, right? Buddha had a lot of information, right? And the more knowledge Buddha got, the fatter Buddha got, right? Well, you realize that when you start to attain knowledge, that's like spiritual food. And when you're getting that type of food, you're not as hungry for physical food anymore. You're waking up at weird hours of night at 2:22 in the morning, 3:33, 4:44 in the morning, and you're wondering what that's about. It's because you're locked in. And you'll start seeing synchronicities because you're letting you know, yo, you're locking in. Your DNA is awakening. Like it's as if you wrote the story out for yourself and you're watching the story unfold, right? Now, there's a saying, right? I want you to remember this saying. In our natural state is wisdom, but a beneficial state that we're in right now is ignorance. Now, why is ignorance beneficial and why is wisdom our natural state? Well, the reason why that is because in our wisdom-like state, we know everything. We can experience everything. We're all powerful all the time, and there's never a chill to us. We have put ourselves in a state of rediscovering and seeing things for the first time. And if you ever watch a real good movie, right? And you wish that you could just erase your memory and watch it again so you could see it for the first time. You ever had that experience, right? You ever had that experience? That's what you're living right now. You forgot everything that happened in your life because you saw this whole life before you got here, right? And you're experiencing all the pain, all the happiness, all the wisdom of learning yourself again for the first time. And we're moving into the time of our truest awakening. I don't know how many lives it took you to get here, but you're here now. And you're now realizing that you wrote this story out for yourself. We are all one, first thing. So we are all one. There is no space in between us. Just a space is created when we enter into a human vessel. But we're all one. And every drop of this one is us. Okay? So we're all experiencing reality differently. But we're all the same. Right? We all have souls. Well, not all of us, but the ones who are probably watching and resonating with got souls. Some of y'all are just bots. Sorry. We put y'all here too to piss us off a little bit. I mean, it's what it is. Sometimes when you have like family members or friends, whatever it may be, and they don't seem to ever be able to get on the freaking ball, no matter how much they learn and how much you tell them. It's because they're not supposed to. It's going to be hard for some of y'all to believe. We put some people here for opposition so they can push us to be greater than we are now. And if they all supported us and all rock with us, it wouldn't make us challenge ourselves. Damn. This is crazy. All right. The next one, right? The next one. You are having an increased brain activity. This is what I'm going through right now. The way I'm able to absorb information is different now, right? You are starting to become a genius. You're realizing that the reason why they put all the information in you in school was not to bring anything out of you. It was to make you feel low. Because all school does is teach you what they want to teach you. A curriculum designed to bring them and their intentions for you out of you. But it's not designed to bring you out of you. But when your DNA starts to awaken and you start to read and get knowledge and absorb, your brain starts to increase. What I mean is your neural activity starts to pick up and you develop more neural pathways. But when your DNA starts to awaken and you start to get memories of the past, present, and future, and then you read, you can absorb all of it like it's easy. Because really, in our natural state, we didn't need to read. It was all in us. In our natural state, we didn't need technology. We were the technology. For real, for real. Like, where do you think they get the design for the computer from? Our brains. Where do you think they get the design for a telephone from? Telepathy, which we had. Where do you think all this comes from? Us. I mean, if you don't know this stuff, I mean, it's time to learn some books, like read some books. Like, why y'all not reading? Also, when you listen to people all the time online and only depend on them, that lessens your chances of finding yourself because they have found themselves and they're sharing their information with you. But when you only depend on the next new video that comes out, you are belittling the guy that is within you. You're basically saying their insight from what they read and their journey is more important than your own journey. And while you're at your job, working a 9-to-5 that you hate, asking your boss for permission to call off or work vacation because you haven't yet learned how to control your life yet, you are belittling yourself, the God that's in you, because you're saying that you're not good enough. I didn't say it. Your actions are saying it. But your brain, let me give you an example, right? Like right now, I'm able to read and absorb 4 books at one time. I'm reading 4 books right now, and I am absorbing all the information from all 4 of them. I'm like, this is crazy, yo. Like, this is wild. And I'm having a blast with it. A year ago, I was only able to read 1 book at a time and focus on that. But what's happened to me now is because I've done a tremendous amount of things that's opened my mind up. I'm able to absorb more information than ever because the DNA in me allows me to. And it will allow you to too. But you gotta start to attack yourself. Now, some people are saying, how do I activate my DNA? Number one, it's probably one of the only things you gotta do. Listen to yourself. Whatever is in you that is higher in you, and you're not doing it, you need to do it. Because where that's going to take you is your own personal journey to unlock and open up your DNA. The way everybody opens up their DNA is not going to be the same. Okay? People are getting upgrades right now. I'm getting upgrades. You may be getting upgrades, but there are individuals around you who are so confused and they're not getting upgrades. Do you know why? Because they're listening to everybody else. Okay? They're listening to people that are online wowing you with their downloads and their information that they read, right? that they read, and they're not telling you where to go with it because they want you to be a follower and not your own leader. Okay? I love this person, but I love this person. They get the best information. But did they tell you where they got it from? Did they even tell you it was a download? So if they're not telling you it was a download, where are they getting from? And why are they not sharing it with you? You ever think about that? Did you ever think about that? I mean, for real. I see this happening too much. Too much. Too much. All the goddamn time. You know what I mean? So other people will start to awaken their DNA with food, with supplements, things like that. Okay? The blood cleanser, that helps. But it's not going to fully do it because you got to start doing the work. If you're not doing the work, then I don't know what to tell you. But I'm telling you what's possible. You can believe it or not. I don't care if you believe it or not because I'm in my bag right now. And I suggest throughout this time, get in your bag right now because shit is about to get real on this planet. It's already real on this planet. It's about to get real. When you see a motherfucker flying around here and their Merkaba, their light body, you're going to be like, yo, how come I can't do that? It's because you didn't listen to Coach Reg on March 12th, 2021. And by 2025, when you see shit start happening that you can't explain, it's because you have not opened up your brain to that possibility of happening. So you're in rejection mode because you are scared of yourself. I don't think so. Not me. Not me. Nope. 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 So like, comment, subscribe. Hit the notification bell. If you like my content, do what you got to do. You want to hit me up? Do what you got to do. Get some supplements? Do what you got to do. I suggest if you want to cleanse yourself out, get a colon cleanse. Do what you got to do. But yeah, that's what I got for y'all today. I'm about to go read. I've been dying to read. I've been busy all day. I've been just like I've been like fiending to read. I just can't stop. I just got to get it in. I need all the information. I need all of it. That's what happens. When your shit starts like upgrading, you need all of the information. You need all that shit. I wish I was like, yo, y'all remember that movie? Remember that movie Meteor Man? Right? I loved Meteor Man's power. Meteor Man's power was one of his superpowers was when he touched a book, right? He could absorb all the information in that book. And he could do everything. He embodied, like, it was like he embodied it. So whenever he had to fight somebody, he picked up like the Bruce Lee book and he started knowing how to fight. I love that ability. I love that shit. That was one of my favorite movies of all time. One of my favorite movies of all time. I'm not sure he was the first black superhero, but he was the first black one I remember. And then there was Blank Man, and Blank Man was super duper smart, and he made all kinds of things out. And that was dope too. I like that too. I like those movies, yo. I like the movies that empowers. Do you notice these days they're putting more black superhero movies out because they know something about you that you don't know? Luke Cage, the man who is bulletproof and super strong, Black Lightning, and his whole family, the man who's electrical. Like all these superhero movies. Interesting, right? Interesting, right? Why are they doing that? Now, y'all remember for the last 20 years, they gave us movies like Outbreak, The Day After Tomorrow, I Am Legend, right? And now we see something like that happening, right? But now, what they're giving us is what? They normally give you the future and the past through movies, right? They have to tell you what they're doing or what's about to happen. That's the agreement, right? They gotta tell you what they're doing. You don't realize they made an agreement. Like we run the shit. We run the show. You don't realize we run it. We're running the show even when we're not running the show. That's how powerful we are, right? And right now, what they're showing us what? Superheroes. Why? Because there's about to be superheroes walking around. Like this is what we could do. This is what we could do. This is what we could do. So believe it or not, I don't care what you believe. All right. I'm doing what I do. I'll see y'all the next video. I'll talk to y'all soon. Peace.